Chills. Okay. He's kind of a douche. It's just kind of hard to motivate myself to want to read it. I'm gonna crash out. Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Laura, I love all things books, and today we're doing another 24-hour reading challenge. I did not think I would be doing another reading challenge so soon. It's been about 2 and a bit months, but I'm like, yeah, it needs to happen. Needs to happen because I have borrowed so many books from the library that I put on hold, and for some reason they all became available at the same time. So what I'm going to do is read for 6 hours across 4 days. So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I'm a bit nervy because I do have to edit a video in between all of that, but hopefully that won't take too long. Today I've already read for 1 hour and 13 minutes, so I have 4 hours and 47 minutes left, and I am currently reading The Night We Met by Abby Jimenez. I'm just over halfway through. I'm on page 236, chapter 30, and I'm having a lot of fun with this. I love this, but it's getting a little bit like, what's gonna happen? Like, how are they gonna fix this predicament they're in? Pretty much, we're following Larissa. She was at a concert one night with some of her friends, and she met these two guys who were mutual friends, and they both sort of offered to drive her home, and she chose Mike to drive her home. And so they started dating. However, because of that, she's gotten to know his best friend Chris, who was the other option to drive her home, and she's starting to like Chris more than Mike, and she's like, oh my gosh, how can one decision one night make such a big difference? Like, did I choose wrong? You know, and she did, obviously. I'm not exactly sure how they're going to end up together without hurting the best friend, Mike. He's kind of a douche, but he's not bad. He's not a bad person, and they both really, really care about him. But I'm like, they're so obviously better suited for each other, so it's like, I don't know, Mike's gotta go. Mike has to go, but I don't know how that's gonna happen. So I'm hoping to finish this within the next couple hours. I will keep you updated. I do want to edit my video a little bit tonight and obviously get my reading done. My 4 hours and 47 minutes left of reading. Ooh, yeah, yikes. So it's 4:40 right now. I think I'm going to try and finish this before dinner. Probably won't though. Probably need about another 2 hours to finish this. I'm hoping to get quite a few books done in this 24-hour reading challenge. I'm just like 6 hours is a while. I don't know, I'm doing it now because it's almost Easter, so I have more time, and it's school holidays, so my workload has gone down, but it will still be a struggle, and I don't want to do the 12 hours in one day again. That was and I could have read a lot more if I wasn't so tired from reading so much the day before. So I want to actually see how much I can read in 24 hours over 4 days. So yeah, gonna go keep reading. Abby Jimenez. These quotes. What the fuck? Oh my god. Sup. It's the next day, and I ended up finishing The Night We Met by Abby Jimenez last night. I loved this book so much. What the f? What? Okay. Please excuse how I look right now. I don't think these hats work on me, but whatever. I loved this with my whole heart. I rated it 4.75 stars. I did just not get the 5-star feelings, which is the only reason why it's not a 5-star, and I really trust that feeling. This is so dumb. I trust it when I'm not feeling that it's 5 stars. So yeah, this is 4.75. So close. But I loved the main character, and Chris was the most selfless man I've ever read about. This book is the epitome of that song We'll Never Have Sex by Leith Ross, because pretty much they were fully accepting that they probably wouldn't be able to be together properly in the way that they wanted, because it would hurt Mike, the guy that Larissa originally chose and was dating. But he did some up and I was like, guys, Chris, I know Mike is your best friend, but like, he was an asshole to Larissa. Asshole. Anyways, I want to read you some quotes. Okay, this might be a spoiler, but also it's a romance, so you know that they're gonna end up together. Whatever. This is in Chris's point of view. If this last month has taught me anything, it was that Larissa was never going to be just some woman to me. I think it was always supposed to be us. But she'd taken a different path, and even though we'd found our way back to each other, it couldn't be like it should. There are lots of ways to love someone, I realized. You could go your whole life never touching them, and it didn't negate the feeling. She could be the love of my life, even if we only ever had this. Having dinner with her every night, her sweaters on the back of my chairs, the dog always smelling like her. I felt privileged just to be able to talk to her whenever I wanted, to help her, to be useful to her in any way, to open a jar for her, pick something up at the store and bring it home, to wash her coffee cup and put her clothes in the dryer. It's the way it's supposed to be with people you love, the unrelenting urge to care for them, the pain and longing when you can't. Abby Jimenez. Oh, I got chills. Okay. And then there was another one. This is when they finally kiss. Sorry, it's not a spoiler. It's a romance. Okay. Then he closed the distance and softly cupped my cheeks in his warm palms, and it was all over. I was sand between his fingers. I was his girlfriend and his wife. I was the mother of his children, the witness to his existence, the last word he breathed. All in 1 second, all in one kiss. I'm gonna crash out. So beautiful. Such beautiful quotes. So yes, finished this last night, which meant I got my timer down to 2 hours and 47 minutes. However, I need to sort out my sleep routine, because I was editing my video and I was like, I'm gonna fall asleep editing my video. And this was at like 8:30. So I had a nap. And I set my timer for an hour, my alarm, and I just turned it off as soon as it came on, and I slept until about 10:30. And then I edited and then went to sleep at 12:30. I've been really bad, and for some reason staying up until like 2:30, and it's just not on. And I need to fix that. So I did not finish my reading for yesterday. However, I'm hoping to be able to get it done today, but that does mean that my timer is currently at 8 hours and 47 minutes. And I was like, it doesn't matter, I can just listen to my audiobook. But I'm like, the whole point of this challenge was to read the physical library books that I have. So yeah, I'm gonna go for a walk, and I'm trying to figure out the best way to do this. I live in quite a residential area, and I don't feel like walking around with just holding a book. But I might just have to get over that and just do it. No, I don't think I can today. I think I'm gonna start this one, Kin by Tayari Jones. Pretty sure this is like brand new, which is pretty cool. But I don't really want to start it on a walk. I want to be able to focus, because I literally know nothing about this, but I feel like I'll just maybe get it on my phone and read it on my phone while I'm walking. Yeah, guys, I need to do more exercise. This is the first day. Literally, it's 9 a.m. and I can only do this because I have nothing to do today. I don't have work. But I want to try and walk every day. So yeah, I think that's my plan. I might get it on my phone and read it on my phone on my walk. Hopefully get some of that time down. I was like, yeah, I'll just listen to Percy Jackson, because that's what I'm listening to right now. I'm listening to the second Percy Jackson, The Sea of Monsters. But I'm like, I need to actually get some books off my TBR. So let's go for a walk. I really hate update. Things have gone awry in my plan, pretty much. So yesterday I did not complete my 6 hours. Oh wait. Yeah, okay, so I think I had 8 hours and like 40 minutes left over from the day before, or like added on to yesterday's 6 hours. So overall yesterday I had 8 hours and 47 minutes. I barely got down to 6 hours again, so I read for maybe just over 2.5 hours. But I accidentally, that was accidentally mostly audiobook listening to Percy Jackson and the Sea of Monsters. However, today, oh my god. Today we've read quite a bit of my book. I'm on page 140 and I still have 7 hours left on my time today. So how I did that, okay. So I want to get this done in the next 2 days. So today's Friday. I'm leaving to go on a trip on Monday for 3 days and I just don't want that stress. It's supposed to be chill. Like, not that this is stressful, but sort of is when things don't go to plan during my day, so I can't read. And I was planning to do it 4 days in a row, so a lot can happen in those 4 days that change your plans. Oh yeah, so what I did was I split one of the 6-hour days into 3 hours, adding 3 hours today, 3 hours tomorrow, so it'll be 9-hour days. But I'm not going to finish that tomorrow because I'm going to the movies tomorrow afternoon and I have to do housework and whatever else. And then the following day is Easter Sunday, and I wasn't planning on doing this on Easter Sunday, but I'm hoping that I can get the time down to maybe like 3 hours. That is very optimistic, so that on Sunday I don't have to do too much reading. I am determined to finish this by Sunday though. So anyways, I am being optimistic about this as well, but I'm planning on hopefully finishing this book tonight. It is 10 to 10 p.m. I don't know, I'm feeling awake, I'm feeling alert, and I think I might have about like 3.5 hours left of reading. I'm almost halfway through and I'm starting to get really into it. So pretty much we're following 2 girls. I don't know when exactly this is set, but it's definitely like maybe in the 50s. Most likely in the 50s.
Dude, Panthers won by 40 points. 50 to 10.
I got your reaction on video.
That's fine.
So yes, it's set around then, and we're following 2 girls who were raised together but aren't related, called Vernice and Annie. 2 motherless daughters raised in Honeysuckle, Louisiana, have been best friends and neighbors since earliest childhood, but are fated to live starkly different lives. So right now, we're just following each of them. I think where I'm up to, they are maybe 18, 19 years old. One of them's in college, and then the other is trying to find her mother, who left her when she was a baby. So she's in Memphis, trying to find her mom. Yeah, this is definitely like I wouldn't say a character study, more just like the historical fiction of it all, like what Black women went through back in these days. Like, yeah, I have read something like this before. I feel like it was called The Vanishing Half, and I can't exactly remember when that was set, but they were twins, and I'm pretty sure they could like pass for white, but they were black. I don't know, I find that really interesting. I find in this one especially the commentary on women's relationships with other women in families and friendships, and I am really enjoying this, and I see why people love it so much. I mean, it was only released this year, but I reserved this from the library and I have to return it really soon because it has 40 reserves after me. So people want to read this. I think it's good because it's not super monotonous where you're just following one character each chapter. You switch from the point of views of Vernice or Annie, and they're both doing very, very different things with their lives, and I really like that. It is kind of slow, but the writing is super simple, like easy to read, even though the subject matter can be quite dense and heavy. I feel like the writing makes it a bit easier to read. So yeah, I'm gonna go keep reading, see how I go with trying to finish this tonight. I have over 200 pages to go. What is up? Last night I did not end up finishing this. I have about 90 pages left. Yep, I was just too tired. I had to go to sleep. Oh, sorry, downstairs neighbors. So I ended up getting my timer down to 4 hours and 52 minutes. But that does mean, since we have to add 9 hours, and this should be the final. I really hope I'm doing my maths correctly. Yeah, this should be the final. I'm not even halfway down. Okay, yeah, I am doing the maths correctly. This should be the final time that I added up to. So adding 9 hours. So that's going to be 13 hours. Oh, this one's 14 hours. 52 minutes and 9 seconds. So needless to say, I won't be finishing this today, but I need to get a good chunk of it down, at least 8 hours, so that tomorrow I don't have to read that much. But that's the point of this challenge. Also, I look insane. I'm going for a walk and we're going to read while I walk. I still am too nervous to actually bring my book, my physical book, with me. So I'm just going to read on my phone. Okay, might as well skedaddle. Merry Easter. A couple things to update you on. I am horrendously failing at getting this challenge done in a challenging time frame. It is Sunday, the day that I said that I was going to finish this, and I still have 10 hours and 56 minutes, 57 minutes left on my timer. So, one good thing though is that I finished Kin by T.R.E. Jones, and I really enjoyed this. I gave it 5. No, I didn't. I gave it 4 stars. I just thought it was a really powerful commentary on how we identify ourselves in regards to our parents and how that can literally influence the rest of our lives. How much of an impact our parents have on our psychology, our personality, our path that we decide to take in life, especially mothers and daughters. You know, we have 2 very different characters who grew up together, and Annie, her mum left her when she was still really young, and so she lived with her grandmother and grew up with her grandmother. And so her whole story is just her obsessing about where is her mum? What is she doing? Is she alive? Is she okay? Does she have other family? What is she doing? Why did she leave me? Her whole life is pretty much determined by these thoughts. And so what happens to her all boils down to the day that her mother decided to leave. And then we have Vernice, whose mother was murdered by her father. You don't really learn why or the story behind it, but pretty much her aunt walked in and her mother was dead, and the father had shot himself but wasn't dead yet. I think there's a quote in here, just like, the fool couldn't figure out how to shoot himself dead. Which is so dark, but made me laugh a little bit because, like, just the worst type of person. So Vernice grew up knowing that her mother didn't leave of her own volition. And so it's interesting to see the paths they take based on what happened to their mothers. Yeah, I would highly recommend this one. I'm glad I read it, and I decided to borrow this from the library because it was super popular on Goodreads as like a new book that people are going to read, and it was on the American Book of the Month choices, and which I look at every month to see what's new and what people are going to be reading, even though they don't ship to Australia. And so this is one of the choices, and I want to keep up to date with the new releases of the year, which is quite bad because I have a million books on my TBR, but I'm very glad I read this though. However, it was quite a heavy book, quite a heavy topic as well. It explored race and family dynamics and abuse and just hard stuff. And so when I was picking out what book I want to read next, I was having troubles because I really need to read The Winners by Frederick Backman, which is the third book in the Beartown trilogy. I've borrowed it from the library and I need to return it by the 21st, and it's massive. But I'm also horrendously failing at reading my TBR. I've read 1 out of 8 books that I picked from my TBR jar, but now I have 4 books left that I have borrowed from the library, so they've sort of taken a priority, and they're all pretty much new books except for 2 of them. But I wasn't feeling The Winners because this book was already quite heavy and historical fiction, so it's like real and just heavy, I don't know. And even though The Winners is fiction, like complete fiction, it's still going to be extremely heavy and emotionally taxing. So I was like, I want a fantasy. And I have one fantasy that I borrowed from the library, and I also have a couple fantasies on my monthly TBR. But I was like, I'm feeling like I want to read the one from the library. So I started King of Ravens by Claire Sager. Yay. My app that I track my reading on, I actually track my reading on 3 different apps, but there's an app that I use where I can time my reading sessions, and then so I timed my reading session. I got about 37 pages in last night, and then it tells me how long it's going to take me to finish the rest of the book. So it said about 6 hours and 58 minutes. Which I will definitely get done in the time that I have on my timer left over, but it's just like big boy. So yeah, I started that last night. I don't know too much about it just yet, and I'm a bit scared I'm not gonna like it. There's always a joker in the... I'll read the back. Rhiannon is dying of what she doesn't know. Kept protected by her family in their clifftop home, she spends her days searching for a cure. Her world is torn apart when an unseelie king of the dead arrives and gives her a simple choice: descend to the underworld to be his bride, or he'll take her family instead. Trapped in a twisted bargain, Rhiannon is thrust into a world of withered gods, scheming courtiers, and ancient magic, but she refuses to be a pawn in a game she never agreed to play. Like, obviously she's gonna fall in love with him. So yeah, I got 30 pages in and pretty much she's already been taken, like just been taken by the unseelie king of the dead. And it's kind of up because why this bargain was struck was before she was born, her dad was on a fishing boat. He was in a storm, he was stuck in a storm, and he was going to die, and he was desperately praying to be saved to any god that would listen. And I think it says that it's the Morrigan who answers his call, which is a character in A Court of Thorns and Roses, and they just call her More. I don't know, I have to look more into that. But she made him a bargain that if she saved him, he would have to give her his firstborn daughter. And then so they had a daughter, and they spent her entire life trying to protect her. I don't know, for some reason she was like ill and she'd have these fainting spells, and so I don't know exactly why that was happening. It obviously has something to do with the bargain, I think. But yeah, she is 32 years old or 33 now, which I'm finding quite interesting. And I like it, I think, because I'm sick. I'm sick and tired of the main characters in a fantasy being like 17, 18. I don't know, it's a bit messed up when you have the often smutty scenes that are in these books. So I think I'll like that. Yeah, I've just had no motivation to read it tonight, and it is 9:30. So I'm gonna do some reading. Hopefully I'll get a little bit in. We shall see. Hi! I cannot remember the last time I updated you guys, but I am in an undisclosed location that you'll find out about next week. And unfortunately, my challenge has gone on longer than I wanted, but I'm going to get it done today, I hope. I still have 7 hours and 30 minutes left on the timer. So I should finish this book and like half of another one. Also, please excuse how I look. My hair is filthy. So I am reading King of Ravens by Claire Sager, and I think I'm enjoying it. It's definitely not my favorite, but I'm not bored and I'm not wanting to put it down. It's just kind of hard to motivate myself to want to read it, which I think is also why this challenge has been taking me so long. I wanted to literally get it done in 4 days and it's been almost a week. So I'm just under halfway through. It's just not my favorite fantasy I've read yet. I hope that things start picking up soon. It's just sort of like Rhiannon trying to escape, but she's really dumb and she's sick. So it's like, you're not going to be able to outrun these things. You're literally ill. She's so like blinded by the need to get back home. I don't know yet why the king has been forced into this bargain, because he's not very happy with the arrangement either, but it's happening against his will and her own. It's okay, I'm having fun. I haven't read a fantasy in a while, so yeah, slowly trudging through this. And as I said, I have 7.5 hours left on my timer, and I think this will take me about another 5.5, maybe 4 hours, which I'm gonna try and do today. It is 4 o'clock. So I will see you in a bit, and hopefully I have made some progress in my time. Hello, beautiful people. Unfortunately, my microphone did not work this entire clip, which is awesome. So it's just me holding the microphone for no reason. Let me think. It's been over a week since I've updated you. It's just been rough. I don't think I was ready to do this challenge quite yet, but I technically did it. I read for 24 hours, just not in the 4 days that I wanted to, and that's really annoying. But I was busy. I ended up being a lot more busy than I thought I would be, and that's why I haven't been able to also update you guys, or I don't know, I sort of was in a bit of a slump with my video creating. I just didn't have the motivation. So I finished this book. I think this is the last thing I updated you guys on. This was good for a fun classic fantasy. If you want a fantasy with all the fun tropes like enemies to lovers, grumpy, sunshine, literally just classic enemies to lovers, I'm gonna say, then this is for you. For me, I felt like there were quite a few plot holes, or maybe just one big one at the end, I don't know, or just a lot of things unanswered that I'm still really confused about, and I'm not sure if I just wasn't paying attention or if she's just left it for the next book, because there was a big cliffhanger, which, by the way, I was infuriated by, but I'm okay with it now because I'm just like, it's just gonna be fun for the next book. I think I will read the next book when it comes out. I'll probably have to watch a million recaps of what happened in this video and this book. And I think I rated it 3.5 stars. So I didn't hate it, obviously, and I had fun and I read the whole thing. And it was satisfying because I guessed something pretty early on. But I mean, kind of intuitive, easy to guess. Sort of the only thing that could be happening. Not really much else to say on this. I think reading this, I got down to about 2.5 hours left on my timer. I think it took me about 8 hours to read. So then, to finish up the challenge, I picked up The Correspondent by Virginia Evans. Guys, do yourself a favor, read this. It is really quick. It is just a bunch of letters between our main character, Sybil. She's a 73-year-old woman who is just corresponding with literally anyone she can. And her story is just told through letters, and the letters she sends to people and the letters they send back. And also emails, because it is 2025. Oh wait, it starts in like 2011, 2012, and it spans over 10 years. And it's really lovely. I did have some trouble getting into it at the beginning. Also, I didn't read all of this in the 2 hours I had left. I'm just going to talk about it anyway because why not? So I think I read for the challenge about 100 pages, and then my timer went off and then I was done. But I was like, okay, who cares? I'm still reading, because it didn't really change anything. I wasn't really challenging myself, but it's okay. I could have lied and told you guys that I did this in 4 days. No, it literally was almost 2 weeks. So anyways, let me talk about this. Sybil is the funniest character ever. It was a pleasure to get to know her, and I love books about older people because I love the Thursday Murder Club series. I've only read 2 of the books, but I am very excited to continue, and the last one was almost 5 stars. I just loved it. It was so funny because these older people are portrayed as just so carefree. They literally could not care less what anyone thinks about them because they're old. They literally have the energy that they're gonna die in the next, 10, 20 years if they're lucky. So they just do whatever the they want and say whatever the they want. And it is so funny, but also really wholesome because they're just living life. They're just like, yeah, we've gotten through the hard parts. Now we just get to have fun. And that's what this feels like as well. But it's a bit deeper, and I did feel broken by this book. By the end of it, I was like, ow. Why? Ow. Why? Ow. She literally starts this correspondence with a customer service dude, and they keep talking for years after he actually helped her with whatever problem she had. I just found that so funny. She just wants to get to know everyone and correspond with everyone. Yeah, I would highly recommend this. I gave it 4.75 stars. I don't know why. I just haven't got the 5-star feelings from a book since like January, I think. Oh my god. And I just really, like, everything could be perfect about a book, but if I didn't get the feeling that, yes, this book was 100% 5 stars, then I won't give it 5 stars. So, this is essentially 5 stars, but I don't know what was going on. I just didn't feel like I could 100% commit to 5 stars. Anyways, let me go through what I read in this entire challenge. I sort of failed. So first up, I finished up about half of this book, The Night We Met by Abby Jimenez, also another almost 5 stars. Then I read Kin by Tayari Jones. I had to give the library book back, which so I don't have it anymore, but that was really good. Again, 4 stars. Had a good time with that, and it was something that I haven't read about in a while, like a historical fiction, so I liked that. And then I read King of Ravens by Claire Sager. This was just a fun fantasy. Haven't read a fantasy in a while. Had fun. Not my favorite. 3. I actually can't remember the exact rating I gave it. Probably like 3.5. It gave me everything I wanted out of a fantasy. It just wasn't revolutionary, which not every book has to be revolutionary. Some books are just for entertainment and escapism and silly, goofy times. And then I read about 100 pages of The Correspondent. So here's our book stack -1 of how much I read in 24 hours. Yay! And this is how many pages I read. I'm gonna look at the bright side, and even though I low-key failed this challenge, I definitely read more than I would have, but it wasn't a 24-hour readathon. So sorry about that, but also what want me to do? Our girl was busy. I did like that I went for a lot of different genres. We had 1 romance, 1 fantasy, 1 historical fiction, 1 literary fiction. Whoa. Literally 1 of everything I read. So yeah, I really hope you enjoyed. I am sorry that I kind of failed the challenge, but I really don't think you care. Let me know if you like this sort of video, this reading vlog style. I like watching these a lot more than I do the sit down videos, but I find filming them quite a lot because I forget that I'm actually supposed to be filming a video, especially with this one because I let it span over a week and a half. So yeah, let me know if you like that. Let me know how you would do in a 24-hour reading challenge, and if I should try an actual 24-hour reading challenge where I read over 24 hours and don't sleep. I know that I'm going to fail it because I'm going to 100% fall asleep. So if you liked this video, please give it a like and subscribe to see more content like this. Thank you so much for watching. I'm so glad you're here, and I will see you next week. Bye, Pookies. I don't know.